Yep, I think he thinks he's a cat. So, what are you doing? And this is what I've been dealing with. My doggy has a cat spirit. Anyhow, hey everyone, it's been a while. Yes, it's been a long while. I am Yvonne Emile Elizondo from Silver Moon Astrology and existential counseling, transpersonal counseling, all sorts of counseling, but it's been a while. I haven't seen you all. Well, not that I technically see you because you're actually seeing me, right? If you're watching this, which I hope you are. But anyhow, yeah, it's been a while, and I just wanted to start this new phase of my astrology journey on the Capricorn full moon, which is today, which is what we're going to talk about. And so I hope that you will tune in and let's figure out, what this moon is about. I'm excited about this. So let's get started. I am going to show you the chart as usual. And if I can find the chart, it's been a while since I've done this. Yeah, it's been a while. Before I do that, let me just say, I needed a break. I needed a break from astrology, believe it or not. I needed a break from a lot of stuff that's been happening in the world and a lot of stuff that, I was dealing with. And so I did something that Capricorns don't usually do, or they have a really difficult time doing, and that is realizing that we can walk away from the work. And so I was very proud of myself. I missed my astrology, but I really did need a break from just, the ins and outs of everything that was going on. Right now, I use astrology in my therapy practice? Yes, I'm still therapizing. I'm still, working in my Silver Moon counseling office. But I really am excited to be back, and I really feel that this Capricorn full moon is the perfect time to do it because I am a Capricorn. And yeah, so let's get started. All right, now let's get started. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, if I remember how we're doing this. All right, here we go. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. I hope everyone can see this. So we do have the Capricorn full moon, as I said, today. Today is the 10th. It's July 10th. Today's the 10th, and the full moon was approximately, I think it's like at 3:30 or so this afternoon. I can look at the time in just a little bit here. Let me just see what we do. Let's get the pointer. Let's look at the time. I'm pretty sure it was like 3:36 p.m. So just a little bit ago, about an hour and a half ago. So, all right, let's do this. Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. Here we go. Ah, it feels good being here. If you notice, there's a different background. Those of you that maybe watched before, I had to move my office. And so now I'm here in my space. I'm a Taurus rising, so I really, really find my space to be an integral part of, what I do every day. And so anyhow, I just thought I would share that with you. All right, so let's take a look. So here is the beautiful Capricorn full moon. Here we go. Capricorn is an earth sign, right? And of course, every full moon, we have an opposition from the moon to the sun. So now we have the sun in Cancer. It is Cancer season. I love Cancer energy. And these two combinations of elements, right? Water and earth, okay, tend to get along pretty well, okay? Especially because they are, in this case, opposite of each other. Obviously, Yvonne, oh my God, Yvonne, Amelia, it's a full moon. Of course, they're in opposition. But what I mean by that is that Cancer energy is this fluid water. It has to deal with home, family, friends, all of those things that are personal to us, and there's a lot of emotion happening with, the Cancer energy. And on the opposite side, we have Capricorn. That's about ambition. It's about work. It's about career. It's about all of those things that we do in the material world, right? And here we have the lovely moon that does really well in Cancer. It rules Cancer, but now it finds itself in the opposite side of where it feels more comfortable. And as I just said, the element of the environment for me is so integral in my everyday experience. So is the environment for the moon. And because the moon naturally belongs in Cancer, it doesn't yeah, I don't want to say it doesn't do well in Capricorn, but man, it struggles in the dry earth of Capricorn. There isn't any water, okay, here in Capricorn land. So the moon, which is an emotional being, is like, I need water, right? I need some emotion. So you might find that people with Capricorn moons, like myself, sometimes we have a difficult time processing, our emotions. Right. So let's start off with that. And then I'm going to jump back into the chart because I think this is really important, right? To understand this, the Capricorn full moon for this time. So we have these two parts playing off each other. Okay. We have this Cancer sun. Again, it's about family and it's about friends. And I apologize for the lighting. Like I don't have any lighting equipment right now, which I obviously need to get. But, all my videos are just kind of impromptu, right? So, anyhow, bear with me. I know there's a glitch happening somewhere. I just kind of saw that. Anyhow, okay, so we're back. And may I remind you again that I'm massively ADHD. So again, I go off on tangents. Just follow me. We are going to get somewhere and some information about this full moon in Capricorn somehow. Okay. So this Cancer energy where the sun is, it's about home and family. There's a lot of emotional connection with this moon. Okay. And what I mean by that is that not because it's in Capricorn, but because the sun is shining a light on Capricorn, right? That's how we get a full moon because it's the sun's light on Capricorn or on the moon, excuse me. And that's how we get a full moon, right? So there's this emotional water energy that's happening in the sun. And then we have Capricorn that is disciplined. It's, structured. It's fundamental. It likes to climb very, very slowly up the mountain. It's very cautious. It takes its time. It's ruled by Saturn, right? So as we know, Saturn is the parent in the zodiac. So again, here we go. So Capricorn can seem like it's the parent, okay, in the zodiac. Well, this moon in Capricorn, again, it tends to struggle, right? It doesn't have any water fluidity. It really has a difficult time processing emotion. So you might find that during this time, during this full moon, there might be some emotional, things that come up, for lack of a better word. We did have a very, very difficult time this past weekend in Texas, okay? And my heart and all of my prayers go out to everyone that's been affected, by the floods and in New Mexico and Ruidoso and Cloudcroft. Like that was like our little second home, okay, when we lived back in El Paso. And I think there's been some other places too. Georgetown, right up the street here for me, was also affected, but obviously not as much as the people in Kerrville and their communities, right? So my heart goes out to them and every single one of you. So with all of that being said, the emotional factor for Capricorn, okay, their Capricorn will work instead of really recognizing and understanding, well, I don't know if, yeah, even understanding their emotions. Okay. So during this full moon, you might find that there is a battle going on within you, okay, that says, hey, you know what, there's that part of me that is very connected. Maybe it's the child part. Maybe it's it's like being in the womb again, right? It's like that protected essence, right? That wants to be close to home and family and friends and really having a connection, okay, with other people versus the moon in Capricorn that says, yeah, we need to go to work. Okay. So again, it's like there's this struggle between the ambitious career part of you, okay, versus maybe the family home part of you. Okay. So that's where I'm going to start with that is that you may be feeling the pressure between those two forces in your life here, the next 24 to 48 hours. And So how do you reconcile those, right? Okay, so we're going to get to that answer, but I'm going to share the chart again, okay, because there is more that's impacting this full moon than just the opposition between those two. Okay. All right, so here we go. So here once again is the full moon. Okay, it is in Capricorn. Here's the sun. All right. Now you will notice that we have here, okay, here's Pluto retrograde. Okay, and Pluto is in Aquarius. So it's not in the same sign as Capricorn. Aquarius energy is air, whereas Capricorn energy is um, earth, right? But Pluto is, it's not necessarily close enough, to have in my opinion, a direct impact, but within degrees, and it's over 10 degrees, but still, Pluto energy just kind of gives me the wee wees. Okay. What I mean by that is like when Pluto's hanging around the moon, it just makes me feel like, there is that impending um, moment that can happen where, the emotional aspect or the focus of Capricorn that says we have to get up the mountain, all of a sudden is like having to deal with something that is potentially keeping that Capricorn moon from very smoothly climbing up the mountain like the goats do, right? So that can mean maybe a crisis. It could mean maybe something that needs to be transformed. It can be maybe a challenge. It could be something that is intensely happening in your life, okay? And all of a sudden we have to pay attention to that, right? And so that's where I want you to be very careful because again, Capricorn works their emotions through their analytical, processing center, not so much through the heart like Cancer energy would. And so if something happens to come up and you're like, awesome, I'm going to take care of that because my Capricorn moon over here tonight doesn't really know how to process emotions. So we're just not going to focus on the emotions. We're going to focus more on what we have to do. And that's what I want you to be careful of this particular full moon. Okay, now there's more to come. So let's take a look. Now, keep in mind that during a full moon, there is a sense of culmination. Okay, there's a sense of release, of culmination to the energies that we have been working with. And again, I'm just highlighting this because, I like to teach, right? That's my job. I really, really, really like to teach. All right. The other thing that I'm going to come back to the full moon. Okay. But before I forget, here we have in Aries, okay, Saturn is stationing to turn retrograde. Right now we have Neptune retrograde in Aries. These are almost within a degree. So this is a pretty close conjunction. They're not going to be fully conjunct until next year. We'll talk about that later. But Saturn, okay, is the ruler of Capricorn. So we have to pay attention to what Saturn is doing. And Saturn is about to turn retrograde. So right now it is really, really strong and intense. All right. And what happens in Aries, or one of the things that can happen in Aries with Saturn and Aries, and this is what I'm feeling is probably the potential to happen here, is that Saturn in Aries, Saturn is weighs things down. It slows things down. Okay. It gives you the ability to, reconsider, really make sure that what you're planning to do is really what you want to do, right? And again, it slows things down to create a really strong foundational structure moving forward. And in Aries, I feel like, and conjunct Neptune, like Neptune is the spiritual, energy, right? It's that etheric energy. And so those two together are making me feel like, hey, you know what? There's something that's going to happen involving some sort of action, right? Some sort of spiritual connection. Again, Aries is fire. Okay. And so there may be this ability to recognize your behaviors, right? And maybe not be so impulsive during this time period, because one of the things that can happen, Capricorn is not an impulsive energy by any means. Okay. And neither is Cancer energy necessarily, but when we get into this tug of war, okay, that says, I need to take care of maybe my inner child or my inner self, right? Okay, maybe my subconscious, because the moon also represents the subconscious. And here we have the moon in Capricorn that likes to work things out, that likes to plan, that likes to be organized, that likes to, really create a foundation moving forward. I'm really feeling that this would be a really good time, okay, to really consider what kind of spiritual practice you want to have moving forward. And or, okay, maybe something that deals with some of that Aries energy. And Aries is fire, it's explosive fire. It wants to go, it wants to move very quickly. All right. So Saturn is bringing and tempering some of that fire right now. So this would be a really good time to really start soaking in that motivation or that energy, okay, about maybe some of the plans that you have moving forward in regards to like your career or your spiritual practice, okay, or your sense of self to some degree, because Aries is a very self-oriented sign. Okay. So I'm really feeling like this Capricorn moon is an opportunity to create some foundation for, those parts that you want to, or those experiences better, that's a better word, parts, experiences, okay, that you want to, have moving forward. And Aries essentially is the self. So maybe doing something for yourself, okay? Maybe some self-healing, maybe just going out to the movies. And I don't know, I don't even know what the movies are anymore. I haven't been to the movies. And I have to tell you, I know I've mentioned this before. I really, really don't like, I know people are not going to agree with me, but I really don't like the new movie theaters. I really like old school movie theaters. Just the chair, just the popcorn, just the Coke. Don't bring me dinner. I have ADHD. I'm going to focus on what you're doing and I'm going to miss the movie. So, yeah, let's not do that. Okay. Anyhow, so whether it's going to a movie, okay, or whether it's, really diving in and organizing your sense of self, okay, because we all need that from time to time. That's why I took the time off, okay, because I need to organize myself, okay. I think this would be a really good time to do that. Now, we also have okay, we have other aspects, okay, there we go. I'm going to bring out my British accent, which is not actually British, as you know. All right, here we go. There's other astrological, aspects that are happening here. We have Mars in Virgo. Okay, we have it squaring Uranus. Okay, in Gemini. Again, Uranus just stepped into Gemini. Thank God it's out of my first house. Oh my gosh. The last 7 years have been the last 7 years, I don't even know what to tell you. The last 7 years, they've been like, holy moly, guacamole. Anyhow, yeah, so Uranus is out of Gemini and I'm sorry, Uranus is out of Taurus. And so it moved from an earth sign, a very stable, consistent earth sign, to a very potentially erratic. Okay. Gemini, air sign. Gemini is mutable. Taurus is fixed, right? So now what am I trying to say? Uranus. Uranus is electrifying. It likes to bring surprises. That's its fundamental feature, is to surprise. It's to shake things up. It's to suddenly, move stuff around. All right. And so with it being in Gemini, an air sign, it's a bit stronger than it was in Taurus. And so we're going to start noticing some shifts here. Okay. In the potential data. Okay. Information, communication, all of this AI stuff, which I'm not a fan of, would will definitely be seeing this in the future, but that's for another video. Anyhow, okay, moving back to the Capricorn energy. Yeah, so the full moon is a culmination, right? It's a release of energy. And so this is a really wonderful time to do some of that magical work. Okay, if you're still doing some magic work, if you're setting your intentions for for the future, okay, absolutely a great time to release it. It's a great time to do ceremony during the full moon. It's a wonderful time to tap into, maybe some psychotherapy or some, work where you're dealing with like maybe researching your ancestors. Oh, that's a really good one for this full moon. Okay. And it's so funny because my therapist and I, Okay. We're talking about ancestral lines. And this is a really good, for me, this feels like a very ancestral type of full moon because we have Cancer energy, which is really about the ancestors, home, right? Family, okay, the ancestors. And then Capricorn is very much about the past. It's very grounded to the past. That's why it has a difficult time changing. Okay. Yes, I know. Okay. So yeah, this would be a really great time to set the intentions for some ancestral work. Okay. And again, whatever that means for you. But most importantly, I think it's important to not, most importantly, I think it's important. Why would I say that? I don't know. Um, I have no idea. It just, whatever comes out of my mouth is what's coming out of my mouth. Sorry, guys. I think it's important to make sure that you are paying attention to your emotions, right? Not to like put them aside or to try to work through them or to try to process them, mentally, which is a very Capricorn tendency. All right. So again, this full moon is, yeah, it's not, Capricorn's not a very emotional sign, as I mentioned, but, we want to be careful because we can use this energy, okay, to maybe take a look at some of the things that we're doing, right? Some of the patterns that we have. Capricorn's very much about patterns that we have when it comes to our emotional, intelligence. So, anyhow, that is about it. I am really glad to be back. I am excited. I love astrology. I never stopped loving it. I just needed a break from it, kind of like sometimes you need a break from your spouse, or your kid, that kind of thing, or your dog. Anyways, all right, everyone. If you want to get a hold of me, my website is down at the moment. It is being reconstructed, but you can always find me at silvermooncounseling.org. That is silvermooncounseling.org. My website should be up here within the next few days. And yeah, if you want a personal consultation, you can also reach me there, or you can message me here, comment, or, I don't know, send me some smoke signals. All right, everyone. That is it. Take care and blessed be.